So you want to quit that job, you want to leave that girl, you want to cut out that bad habit, but then you're stuck in this cycle of hesitation. And the question I ask you is why? Why are you stuck in this cycle? And the answer is pretty simple, bro. Like, to be honest with you, the answer is pretty simple. And it's not that you do not know. You've read the books, you've watched the videos, the information is plenty. But the actual answer, the actual reason to as to why you are not doing is because you fear losing out the feeling that habit gives you. You fear the company that girl gives you. You fear losing the feeling of security that job gives you. And through my experiences throughout life and through my past relationships, I have come to learn that the harm is in waiting and not doing. And I want to give you the techniques, the things that I have done, the tips, the tricks, whatever you want to call them, for you to actually get out the cycle of hesitation, to you to actually cutting out that thing that is in your life. And with that, let's get into the video. And so the first thing that I did to actually getting out the cycle of hesitation, to actually making the decision to do the thing that I was putting off, was writing out the costs of not deciding. And I do not mean like write out the basic stuff like, oh, it's costing me money or time, it's costing me this or that. Like, no. Like, I actually want you to go deep. Go deep, like go deep. Like this, I think this should be like the mantra of this channel. Like, dude, go fucking deep when you ask yourself the questions I give you. Like, go deep. What is it actually costing you? Is it costing you your self respect, your peace, your confidence? Like, be honest with yourself. What is it costing you? Like, is that job costing you your mental peace? Is that girl every time she goes out, she's removing your self respect? Like, is that habit always ruining your confidence after you do it? Like, dude, what is it actually costing you? Not that superficial shit. Not that it's taking your time, not that it's taking your money. Like, what is it really costing you? And like, the funny thing about these type of decision, right, is that regret compounds faster than risk. It always does, because like, dude, you are always going to regret those decisions that you never made. Like, I feel like we've been in the same situation where like we see this beautiful girl, right, at this maybe event we're at, and then we kind of like hang around, laying around, act like we don't want to, approach and stuff like that. And then when we finally get the balls to actually go and say hi, she's leaving. And then we start to regret. We're like, ah, fuck, we should have gone earlier, instead of doing this, start beating ourselves up. And that's how regret compounds faster than risk. Like, we should have just taken the risk when we saw her. We should have gone up and said, hi, my name is Ningi Ningi Ningi. Yeah, you should have just done that. But then regret compounds faster. So, like, I want you to ask yourself, write it out. Like, go grab a pen and paper, write it out. What is that decision that you're putting off actually costing you? And so once you've written it out, the things that is actually costing you by putting off this decision, I want you to start being grateful as if you already made the decision. Like, say it out loud, because like, dude, one thing that I've learned from a YouTuber called Neuro Knowledge is that if you want things to manifest into your reality, if you want things to come into fruition, you need to change your mental state as if you already have that thing. Do you get what I mean? You need to start acting like the thing has already happened. And for you to start actually making physical progress to making that hard decision, to actually deciding on that hard decision, is by acting grateful as if it already happened. Like, dude, start saying out loud, like, yeah, I'm so grateful that I cut out that bad habit. I'm so happy that I left that job. I'm so happy that girl ain't in my life anymore. Like, bro, I'm so fucking happy. Like, start acting as if that decision already happened, because it primes your mind to actually encouraging the positive, to actually outlooking on the positive, not on the negative, because the negative is what stops us from actually making that hard decision. The backlash is actually what stops us from making that hard decision. And so you need to start priming your mind for positive outcomes of you making that hard decision. And another pro tip that I want to give you is that, like, when you're saying that you're grateful, when you're so happy that this thing has happened, when you start telling yourself that, do it in motion, because like, ideas come out better. Your mind start to accept things better when you're emotion, when you're moving around. Like, that's one of the main reasons why I stopped recording my videos sitting down. I started recording my videos standing up, because I tend to extrapolate and explain my ideas way better when I'm speaking and in motion than me sitting down where I'm stagnant and kind of cramped on a tiny stool. And so you need to adopt this into your life. Like, start acting as if it happened. Shout it out. Say it out loud. Be grateful. Say it in motion as you go for your walk. As you walk up to that boss and tell him, like, bro, I fucking quit. As you go into the room where your girlfriend is and tell her, like, bro, I don't think this is working out. As you walk away from that habit, be fucking grateful and say, I'm so happy that this has happened. Act grateful. Say it out loud and do it in motion. And so once you've written out the costs, the actual cost of not making that hard decision, and once you've started acting grateful, like you've already made that hard decision, we move on to step three, which is taking small steps. Because the other thing that stops us from taking action is deep thinking. We all start to ask ourselves, how am I gonna say this? How am I gonna put this? How am I gonna do this thing? How am I like, dude? Act Analysis paralysis is the greatest defeater of action. But if you just start by doing, if you start by taking the small steps to actually making that hard decision, you will beat analysis paralysis. You will not start deep thinking about what you're gonna do because you're already moving towards that certain type of decision. You're making progress towards that goal that you don't want this thing in your life. Like, dude, start writing out the letter of resignation. Start planning out that text message that you want to send to your ex. Like, dude, start downloading the blockers, start, getting into the what's it called, narcotics groups, whatever. Like, dude, start taking action because action will always beat deep thinking. Action will always beat analysis paralysis. Like, dude, just switch off your brain and just do it. Because like action will make you feel like, yeah, I'm actually doing progress. And like when you feel like you want to quit, like when you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, you're gonna be like, man, I'm already in it already. I've already started, so there's no way backing out from this one, right? So let me just send that letter. Let me just send that text. Let me just finish that paperwork for that group that I'm joining. Like, dude, start making positive action to achieving that decision, to actually making that decision. And so you've done these things, you've made the progress, you're doing it, and then now I'm imagining you've already like made the decision. You've cut out the bad habit, you've left that job, you have left that girl. I'm moving on to step four, which is refill the void. Refill it with something positive than something negative. Like I said in the intro, right? I had stated that like you are afraid of losing the feeling of that habit that gives you, losing the company of that what that girl gives you, of losing the security that job gave you, right? And many of us, like, we take that as likely, but that actually impacts to us creating that hesitation to making that decision, and that could result in us going back to the thing that we had previously left. This is why you see people in our generation going back to that toxic ex that they always had, because like it's like the feeling, they never feel the void that the feeling of that toxic relationship gave. They never replaced the feeling of what masturbating gave. They never replaced the feeling of what that job gave them, right? And so we need to fill the void after we cut it out. Maybe with a mission, a challenge, a higher purpose. I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, how to beat your addictions, of things that you can use to replace certain addictions like alcohol, porn, video games. Like, you can go watch that video if you fall under the lines of the list of things that you're addicted to that I just recently mentioned. But like, you need to replace with something as powerful. That job that gave you security, maybe you can find security in your relationships, in your community, in your structure, in the new job, in that adventure that you want to go on. Maybe you want to feel company by actually spending time with a group of people that you actually relate with, not just trying to go back to your ex or anything. Maybe you want to feel, that dopamine rush instead of going back to that porn or that addiction or that habit that you cut out, by maybe adopting something good. So don't just cut out and leave the void open, because you will result yourself going back to that thing, or putting yourself in a deep hole of regret, saying, AJ did this to me and then I don't want to watch his videos anymore. I blame you, and then you start giving me hate for no reason when I just try to help you. And so fill the void. Fill it with something meaningful, something powerful, a mission, a challenge, which I'm going to release in an ebook that I'm currently making right now. If you wanna get the ebook, it's not out yet, but I'm about to finish it. And yeah, with that, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, goodbye.